What was a great thing ruined by popularity? eBay. I remember being able to get an absolute bargain for almost anything I wanted. Now, every shop puts their on eBay. Bothies. Basically, they're small cottages in remote parts of the Scottish Highlands that are left unlocked, free to be used for shelter by people traveling the mountains. They're not well furnished or anything, but they act as a freely usable weatherproof shelter for anyone to use in a country where summer usually just means the rain is slightly less frigid. It used to be that they weren't too well known. The hill walking community used them, maintained them, and everyone observed an unwritten code of conduct where you'd make sure to leave it tidy, clean, and ready for the next person to use. However, they suddenly experienced an upsurge in awareness, and a lot of them suffered for it. People would go to them so they could have a piss-up in a scenic location, and leave them covered in rubbish and literal. They're normally refurbished from long-abandoned houses and frequently don't have toilets, so they're equipped with a shovel to bury your waste. People seem to think they were free holiday homes that they could just take over. Some people just vandalized them for the fun of it. As a result, they're suffered quite a bit. They should offer shelter from bad weather and a safe place to sleep, but now you have a bunch of entitled, lazy arseholes who go and wreck them. To some extent, amusement/theme parks. They have to be popular to justify building new, state-of-the-art attractions, but eventually get so crowded that you need to buy special passes and get on a ride in less than 2 hours and can barely even find a place to sit when you want to rest for a minute. I live near Six Flags Great America, outside of Chicago. Anytime I've gone in the last 10 years, it's been a ridiculous mass of humanity. More rides than ever, but every decent ride is like a 2-hour wait. Any restaurant Anthony Bourdain featured in his shows. Even he acknowledged this. These fantastic gems would subsequently be overrun with diners that they suffered from overcrowding and lower standards. Last year I did the Utah National and State Parks during the early spring off-season, and the measures they are taking to try to accommodate the massive number of visitors during the summer is incredible. Parking, lodging, sanitation, and safety are all becoming problems, and I hope that these places don't become victims of their own popularity. Arches really seems to attract people doing stupid, dangerous. The iconic delicate arch is like a magnet for morons who don't prepare for the trail, take risky selfies, vandalize and climb on things, and drink in places where there's 360 degrees of cliffs around you. I live in Egypt and many of the most popular places are ruined by all the people there all year round. Have you ever noticed there's a threshold where a song gets too popular and will live on with the memory of everyone thinking it was overplayed and annoying? Okay, I'm going to mix it up. Silphium, the plant used as a form of, likely very effective, birth control in the ancient Mediterranean. For this reason, and because it was apparently delicious, it gained popularity as a spice, aphrodisiac, and general cure-all, and became worth its weight in gold. Julius Caesar stockpiled the stuff, and it is one of the most plausible origins of the heart symbol, and the association of that symbol with romance and doing the to people. Unfortunately, it only grew wild in and around Cyrene, and over-harvesting by the Romans after their takeover of the city drove silphium into extinction by the time of Nero. And that's why we had to wait 2,000 years for the pill. Most of the historic monuments. The amount of markings all over them makes me sick. Beaches. Once tourism starts, it usually has devastating effects on the flora and fauna. They had to close a beach off from the public in Thailand to give nature time to recover. Edit for grammar. Edit to give more information. I was talking about Maya Bay, which was made famous by the movie The Beach, yes, the one with Leo. Despite its isolation, the bay attracts so many tourists there isn't even any room to lay down on the sand. The bay is closed off until officials believe the coral has rejuvenated sufficiently. Visiting Iceland. I absolutely fell in love with the country when I was there, but the popularity of it means, like any other trendy tourist destination, that it's now ruined by tourists being jackasses. I grew up near a national park that is also now ruined by overcrowding, So maybe I have a lower threshold for that sort of stuff than most, but watching idiots stomping all over fragile geothermal features 2 steps away from the "no walking on this area" sign just boils my blood. Airbnb. The idea of renting free room or sofa isn't bad at all. It turned into hard bussiness when companies owning dozens of apartments rent them to tourists. Meanwhile, there is an apartment price and rent crisis. I guess living here isn't going to be affordable for middle class anymore.